Okay, so we're sort of getting stories from supporters, and I'm delighted to be joined by Jeanne Venters, who's been a Posh fan for how long?
62 years.
62 years. So, I mean, can you remember how you got involved? How did you end up becoming a Posh fan?
My dad, my auntie, and my uncles, my cousins, I mean, they all went. And of course, we didn't have cars them days, so we used to have to bike to the match. So I think I was about 11 when Dad took me on my bike, and we went. Yeah, so we used to go in the enclosure. At that time, there was like the enclosure, which was in front of the stand. And I was only thinking the other day that when we used to go in there, we was with away supporters and home supporters. I don't know when it was segregated, but we were all together. There was no trouble. And I used to go in there because I used to like looking over the tunnel and shouting, you know what you like when you're 11, like mad on players. So I used to look over the tunnel, and Peter McNeil was my favourite. So I used to look over the tunnel and shout to him every time he came out. It's quite embarrassing when you think about it.
Well, you're saying obviously your whole family went. Was it a little bit like a family event then?
I think so. Well, yeah, they all went on their bikes. We all met there, and and I think my other cousin, he used to stand in London Road with all his mates. So we all went, but sort of stood in different places and whatever. So,
can you remember?
Yeah, I can remember the match. I was thinking yesterday, I can remember the match when we played Arsenal. Was it in 1963? Was it or something? And there was over 30,000 there, and I can just remember being crammed in the enclosure. We couldn't even get out to the toilet. I mean, we were just so tight in there. But it was just, that's one thing I really remember. And it was, I think it's on the television, because you can actually see me as they film the thing. You can see me looking over the tunnel. But, that was a difference. We all stood together, home and away fans. It was amazing.
You mentioned the Arsenal game. Obviously, being elected into the Football League in 1960, I've been in the Midland League for so long. I guess as a as a fledgling supporter, you were really excited about the prospect of being.
I mean, I wouldn't have been very old, and well, what was I then? About 13 then. Yes, I wasn't that old, but yeah, it's things like that. And then again, I was thinking yesterday, the main thing that when we went away, I can remember we went to Chelsea, was it? In 1965 when Vic Crow got injured. And I was thinking the difference of when we went away then, we used to go on a train, obviously. We were allowed rattles. We had the FA Cup we'd made out of cardboard and tin foil. And when we were standing there watching, when we came out, that was quite scary because there was horses. I mean, I would have been about 13 and there was horses just whisking you off your feet as you went out. And so different to where it is today. I mean, I don't go to the big away ones now, but yeah, so happy memories a long time ago, really.
Yeah, 1974, the Division 4 title. Did you go much that year?
I must have. No, Paul was born then. No, so I think I laid off a bit then when the kids. I mean, I followed it, but I wasn't going so much then because it was Mark that was born then. I'd already got Paul, and then Mark was born. So like the family was about then. So I broke off a little bit, and then started going back when Paul got his season ticket. I think Paul was about 12, 13. We got his first season ticket. So.
And yeah. Did you sort of encourage them to become Peterborough fans, or did they do it of their own accord?
I hated football. I mean, Mark hated football for a start, but Paul was into it because his dad played football. But then they're both in it now. I mean, they're just both, and we're season ticket holders in the exec suite, and so it's a real family affair now.
Yeah. Did you look forward to that sort of Saturday social?
I miss it so much. I mean, people say like. Football, it's all about players being safe. I understand that, but the social side of it is I've met so many good friends there, so many people, and it's the social side of it for people our age is something you look forward to. There's not much else to look forward to these days, and it's really nice, and the social side of Peterborough is brilliant.
You mentioned Peter McNeil there. Is he your all-time favourite?
Well, no, I think Craig McNeil is my all-time favourite, but McNeil was years ago. I had this childhood crush, I think. I used to ride by his house on my bike, and that's like you do, like kids do these days. And then, funny enough, when I go to the matches now, he's there, because he's been to some of the matches, and he's come and sang it at Zepspeak night. I have to say, he really was my favourite, about 50 years ago. But, yeah.
And why Craig McNeil then? What makes him special?
I liked him as a guy. I mean, I just really liked him. Yeah, I don't know. There's just something about him. I just really always liked him. It's Joe Ward now. Craig McNeil's gone. Just have to have little favourites, don't you? But yeah, just something about Craig. I've followed him wherever he is. I think he's just a great guy. you know, and just a great guy all round, really. Not that I have much to do with him, but the things I see of him, I just think he's a great guy. So.
In terms of the more recent past, what games sort of stand out for you? Obviously,
MK Dons one. I just love that. I mean, I don't go to many away ones there, but I did drive to that one. What year was that?
2001, 2011. Sorry.
I mean, it was so lovely. I mean, I remember us all getting there in our cars. We were all hooting, going down the A1 together. And then when we got there, we went and saw the team bus come in. And the atmosphere was so lovely. And I think we lost that one, didn't we? 3-2, was it? Mm-hmm. But then when we came back, oh, my gosh, you know, that return one, was it the next week or whatever? That was just brilliant. I mean, we won 2-0 then, didn't we? And what have you. But, yeah, so that's my most favourite one now, I think. The boys go to more of the away ones now, like, you know, the other big final ones and that. But I just remember that atmosphere at MK Don here at MK. It was just brilliant, wasn't it? MK Dons.
Yeah, it was. Do you, when you're not at the games, then do you follow it? Obviously, I know you follow it on social media, but do you listen to it as well?
I normally do. I mean, that was one thing when I was little. I was thinking about that as well. I mean, now when I don't go to the away games, I've always got Cambridgeshire on. And we didn't know that. I mean, when I was younger, we just didn't know that. And we didn't know what was going on in the matches if we wasn't there. And we didn't have anything telling us. And I used to go out to the phone box. My dad used to send me out to the phone box to find out what the score was because, you know, we didn't have all the radio coverage that we have now. But I always listened to the away matches on Cambridgeshire, Peterborough, Cambridgeshire.
How important is that to someone who can't get to the games?
Just brilliant again, just brilliant. It's something to look forward to, you know, just every week. It's just something to look forward to. I just like the whole atmosphere there. And people don't understand that. They don't. They think, oh gosh, you know, whatever do you see in it? But I just do. The atmosphere is so brilliant. And just this time without it, it's just horrible. You know, just I keep looking on, I'm into Twitter and all that. I keep looking on that, but it's not the same as being there, being with everybody.
In terms of your celebrations, then, when Posh score, are you quite reserved? Are you in the air?
I'm embarrassing. The boys are embarrassed when they used to come. They used to say I was winding the away fans up, but I wasn't. You know, but I can't shut up. I sit there at a match and I say I'm not going to say anything. But that's it. People around me must be so fed up with me because I can't shut up. You know, I'm cheering them on and.
I mean, I guess it's funny because you speak to supporters and you can get very much lost in the 90 minutes of football and you know, people talk about the emotion and the roller coaster of it and it can set your mood up for the whole week, can't it?
It can, yeah. I mean, I understand how Darragh feels really because I'm just the same. If we've lost and the whole weekend is not the same, is it? It's just like, you know, it's just so down and yet you're on a high if you've won. People don't understand it. People that don't follow football think, what the hell are you on and all this sort of thing. But that's how it is, you know. It makes your whole weekend, and that's what we're missing at the minute. I know we've got to do the safety for the players and everything, but it's just we could not have football for another year. I'd hate that. You know, it's just.
I don't think people realise as well for people that fall into an age bracket that have to shield themselves. It's sort of. It's almost it's the definition of the word lockdown, isn't it? Because you are essentially in the house, and that's it.
It's just not being able to see, you know, we're like WhatsApping the children and that, but it's not being able to hug them. It's not, you know, it's not going to be the same. It's never going to be the same. It's really quite sad. And it is lonely when you're older and you've got to stop in. Just, I know, you know, yeah.
And I guess as a loyal supporter that you are as well, because you don't know what the future is going to hold, it's very hard to predict, isn't it?
It is, because I mean, like you say, they say it won't be safe till we've got a vaccine. Well, that could be another year, another 18 months. It's just, I mean, I've got my season ticket. I bought that and I thought, oh, what the hell? You know, I've just got to do it. I've got to have that thing to go for, really. You know, I've got the season ticket and it's something to look forward to that it might cover, you know, hopefully it's safe for the players and everybody.
Obviously, you've been a fan for a long time. Did any other club trying to steal your heart or were you always
I just like my local one. I mean, my son's a bit involved with the non-league side a little bit now, so but I still like Posh. I mean, Posh will always be my favourite, I think. But
and in terms of obviously Darren Ferguson as manager, I guess
I love him. I just love him.
Because obviously I work with him, so I know exactly what he's like. But being back 3 times, I guess as a supporter, you really feel like you know a manager when.
I just like him. I just really like him. People can't understand that. I just do. I just like the way he is with the players. I've been there when other managers are screaming at them and this sort of thing, and I just like the rapport that Darryl's got with them when they come off. He'll hug them, and I just like him. I think he's ideal for the club, and long may it continue. Really.
I spoke to Steve Thorpe and I said to him, have you ever, it was a very abrupt question, but have you ever cried at football? And he was talking
all the time.
But it does affect you, doesn't it?
It does. Barry Fry's wife will tell you, I'll even go and talk to her sometimes, and she's probably not, but I'm just emotional about it. I don't know why, I'm emotional, like when they run out sometimes, if it's an important match, you just feel like that. Yeah, there's lots of emotions, and I can cry.
and equally, I guess, Steve's telling me that he cried with joy at the fact that...
I do, mine's happiness. Mine's not sadness. it probably is now, because we're not going, but mine's always happiness. It's just the emotional side of it. It's just, there's lots in it. Yeah.
In terms of obviously the owners that we have at this moment in time, as someone that's been connected with the football club for such a long time, is it nice to have that sort of connection with people at the top?
Darryl's brilliant. Darryl is absolutely brilliant. Even though he's probably down himself now, he will message you. He will, he's trying his hardest to pick all of us up. I don't know, I haven't had much to do with Stuart and Jason, but they all talk. Next week they'll come in and talk. But Darryl's tries to be very positive all the time, and I'm sure he's as down as we are at the minute. But he's trying to pick us up. Look, we will get this. So it's great. And he's giving supporters rings. He texts us. He messages. Brilliant. I just hope he doesn't ever leave, because it will never be the same. But then we don't know what's going to happen, do we?
Mm. And you mentioned Joe Ward earlier. Obviously, he's just signed his contract.
Yeah.
Delighted.
I'll bet up with me, because I follow him on Twitter and on Instagram they've got pictures of the baby, and I'm sure I bet they think, oh gosh, here she is again. But it's just so nice to see how they're doing, because he looks such a nice guy as well. Real down to earth guy and what have you, and keeps putting photos.
You mentioned, obviously, I put it in inverted commas, stalking Peter McNeil, but back in those days, if you wanted to have any kind of contact with them, that's the only thing you really could do.
No, I know. It was like, you realise what kids are like these days. I would have been about 11, I'd be on my bike, I knew where they all lived, I'd be riding mine as if they were going to look at me, but you do, and I can understand how kids are with players in Liverpool and that sort of thing, but you do. I try not to stalk them, but I just want them to know I really like them and, appreciate what they do, sort of thing, really.